everyone, it's Hannah from Story Kids. Welcome back. I am so happy to have you here. If you've missed any of our recent episodes, they are right down below this video. And if your parents want to check out our new Facebook page, that is also linked below. Today I have a really cool story for you. It's all about using your imagination, which is something I'm sure all of you are really good at. This book is called It Looked Like Spilt Milk by Charles G. Shaw. And I know that we on Story Kids talk a lot about different art forms used in books, and so I want you to pay close attention to the art used in this book. We're going to talk about it a little bit after we read, okay? Let's jump into it. Sometimes it looked like spilt milk, but it wasn't spilt milk. What do you think it could be? Sometimes it looked like a rabbit, but it wasn't a rabbit. Sometimes it looked like a bird, but it wasn't a bird. Do you have any guesses what it is? Sometimes it looked like a tree, but it wasn't a tree. Sometimes it looked like an ice cream cone, but it wasn't an ice cream cone. I'm starting to sense a pattern here. Have you ever heard of repetition? That's something that this author, Charles G. Shaw, is using in this book. He's using a pattern that keeps going over and over, so you sort of know what's coming. It's a pretty cool writing technique, don't you think? I think it's cool. Here we go. Sometimes it looked like a flower, but it wasn't a flower. That looks like a dancing flower, almost. Sometimes it looked like a pig, but it wasn't a pig. It does look like one, though. Sometimes it looked like a birthday cake, but it wasn't a birthday cake. Do you guys like birthday cake? What's your favorite kind of cake? I like chocolate cake and pie. Pie is good too. Sometimes it looked like a sheep, but it wasn't a sheep. Sometimes it looked like a great horned owl, but it wasn't a great horned owl. What is this magical shape-shifting thing? Sometimes it looked like a mitten, but it wasn't a mitten. Sometimes it looked like a squirrel, but it wasn't a squirrel. It doesn't seem to be anything. Oh my goodness. Sometimes it looked like an angel, but it wasn't an angel. Sometimes it looked like spilled milk, but it wasn't spilt milk. It was just a cloud in the sky. What a twist ending. So this book is all about watching clouds. Have you ever gone cloud watching where you just sort of lie back? Well, today it's sort of overcast, but you lie back, and if there are different clouds, sometimes they look like they make shapes, and you can go and say, oh, that one looks like spilled milk, or any of these other things. So, the two things I wanted to talk about this book are imagination and art. So the first thing is imagination. This book is all about using your imagination and looking at clouds and creating shapes and pictures and maybe even stories out of them that weren't there to begin with. So an example like cloud watching is such a good example of using your imagination and coming up with creative new ideas. And ideas like that, like the pig, the birthday cake, the bunny, the owl, the tree, the squirrel, all of those things can be great story starters. So I challenge you one day while you're home, go outside with an adult's permission, of course, and take a look at the clouds if there are any out. And maybe you can write a story about what you see in the clouds. Maybe there's a cloud that looks like a bird, and then it turns into a cloud that looks like a slice of pizza. Tell me, how did that bird turn into the slice of pizza? Use your imaginations and your creative juices and create something really, really awesome. Then you're a story kid. The second thing I wanted to tell you about is the art used in this book. This art form is called silhouettes. I'm going to show you a good example. Like the squirrel. So the squirrel doesn't have any details in it, and in fact it's just one color, but we know that it's a squirrel from the outline, and that's exactly what a silhouette is. A silhouette is a drawing. It doesn't have to be white. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's another color, where there's one color up against another color background. In this example, it's white against blue. And the drawing part doesn't have any details or shading or lines or coloring in or anything. It's just sort of one color, and the art is basically from the outline. So some places where you can see silhouettes are if you've ever looked at something in sunset, if you've ever looked at, let's say, a tree or a person in sunset, and you take a picture from a certain angle, it'll look like the person is all sort of like they don't have color or filled in. They're in a shadow and the sunset is behind them. So it's like the light and then the dark outline of the person. I'm sure you know what I mean. So that's what silhouettes are. And I remember, oh, actually, this wasn't even on purpose, but that's basically exactly what my shirt is. The gray is the background and the black color is the inside. And the people are silhouettes. So you can see they don't have details really. It's just the outline of them. But you can sort of tell what they're doing, who they are, what they're wearing, just from the outline. So a cool way for you to make that was a good timing on my t-shirt, huh? So a good way for you to make silhouettes, if you're interested in doing that art project, is taking some construction paper of one color and construction paper of another color, and you can cut out a shape or even a bunch of shapes to make a scene and then paste them onto a piece of paper. That's an art project that I used to love doing when I was little, and even sometimes now. I remember I made one silhouette project where I took a piece of white computer paper and I took some construction paper and cut it up, and I made stars and a moon and a house and some animals, and I made a whole scene just out of 2 colors of paper and some scissors. So you don't have to like to draw or paint or do fine details. Silhouettes are a really cool type of art, and I don't think we've explored them here on Story Kids, which is one of the reasons I thought you would like the art in this book. So maybe if painting or drawing or taking pictures isn't your thing, maybe you'll like silhouettes or doing art with some paper, with collage and making some collage silhouettes. So tell me if you do those. Let me know if you have lots of fun doing them. That was It Looked Like Spilt Milk by Charles G. Shaw. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, I'm Hannah from Story Kids. Keep on reading, everybody.